about 20 minutes is what they've asked of me to spend with you guys, talk to you guys about self-esteem, self-worth, self-value. And so I just kind of wanted to visit with you guys about that for a moment, but kind of want to start the discussion since we're a small group. I don't have to give you a main speech. I can kind of really interact with you guys on a personal level. What are some issues? Do y'all have any struggles with self-esteem? Any questions about your value? Any insecurities about your worth? Is that a struggle for you guys ever at all?
It is for me.
It is for you sometimes? Yeah. Okay. Not really much?
Most things that just let off on shoulders.
You what now?
Most things that just let slide off on shoulders.
That's good. It can be good. Yeah, you can kind of just be carefree about things. Yeah. How about you guys?
Not that much.
Not that much? Okay. Well, you know, it's easy for us as men to sometimes question who we are, right? Say, man, who am I? Do I really have this much value? Do I really have this much worth? Because sometimes we'll put value in what we do more than who we are. And then what we do is taken away, or it's challenged, or it's questioned. Then we're like, well, then who am I? If I can't do what I want to do, if I can't be who I want to be, am I really of worth? Am I really of value? You can kind of question those things. And so the more you take on in life, the older you get, the more responsibilities you have. Sometimes you'll question yourself. And you'll question, well, am I able to do this? Am I the right person for this job? Can I handle a family? Can I handle a job? Can I handle responsibilities, right? Can I handle finances? Can I handle everything I got to handle? Can I do it? And that can kind of make you question who you are and what you're doing. And so it's really important. It's really important that you have security. It's really important that you know who you are. And it's really important that you make decisions that will help you have that value, help you have that self-worth. And so what I want to talk to you a lot about today is your decisions. Because I believe your decisions have a direct impact on how you view yourself. So your decisions are going to have a great impact on who you think you are and how you're going to live. All right, so for example, there's like two ways to live life. I always think there's only two ways to live, right? You can make great decisions and you can get the life that you want, right? You can live and go this direction because you're making decision after decision that's going to position you to have your dreams and goals accomplished. It's going to position you to have the life that you desire. It's going to position you to reach your goals, right? You can live life making decisions that take you in that direction. Or you can live life making decisions that take you in this direction, right? You can choose wrong things. You can choose to do bad things. You can choose to make bad decisions. You can choose to get involved with wrong people. You can choose to get involved in wrong activities and doing the wrong things. And so you can think about it. There's two ways to live life, right? You can either go this direction or you can go this direction. Both are hard. Both are hard. Both have a cost. Because up here, you're going to have to maybe say no to some friends. You're going to say no to maybe some extracurricular activities like drinking and drugs and sexual activity outside of marriage, right? You're going to have to say no to some things. And there's going to be a cost in that regard. But it will always take you where you want to go when you make the right decisions. And then there's a cost here if you make the bad decisions. It's going to cost you a lot of reputation. It's going to cost you maybe your goals. It's going to cost you maybe your dreams. And it's going to end up putting you in a place you never thought you'd be. So here's my challenge for you guys. Does anyone ever dream of getting down here? When you're thinking about your future, do you think, man, I can't wait to have a broken home. I can't wait to have a disappointing life. I can't wait to have my dreams and goals shattered. I can't wait to have everything go wrong. Do people ever think about that? No, so how do they get there? Well, it's one bad decision at a time. How do they get there? It's questioning, do I really have the value to go here? Or I guess I'm not worth it that much, because if I was really not worth it, if I was really worth it, I wouldn't be down here. And so you see how your self-esteem, your value, is going to help determine your decisions. Because if you know, man, I am worth it, I have a life that is worth living, I have a purpose, then I'm going to go this direction because I have a goal. I have a dream. I have a value that this world cannot take away. And so I want to just, my challenge for you is your decisions, because how you decide and what you decide will determine the rest of your life. Right? Now you can always turn that around. I don't want you to be like, well, I can't make any bad decisions forever, or I'm going to screw up. No. There's a beautiful thing in the world called grace, right? Where you can get a second chance, where you can have an opportunity to get things right. But I want to just really challenge you today. That's going to be my challenge, is for you guys to make sure that you make decisions that will position you to go the right direction. All right, so how do we do that? All right, how am I going to build my self-esteem? How am I going to to know that I'm worth making these decisions. And I would tell you like 4 things. All right, 4 things. Number 1, you need to realize that you all have a significant purpose. Every single one of you. You have a significant purpose. I don't know what you think your purpose is. You may not even know it yet. I didn't know it when I was your age. But I know that you guys have been made for a reason. You've been created for great things. And you've been created to do big things. Bigger than yourself. I'm doing more, and God's doing more with my life than I ever dreamed possible. Because I was made for a significant purpose. And here's my challenge within that, is that I was born with one arm, right? You can see that right here. I was born with one arm. I have one main big hand, right? That my kids call this my baby hand, right? So you can see I was born with one arm. I have a little tiny baby hand. It's got 5 little fingers. I have 3 kids, and they all call it my baby hand, right? So this is who I am. And so as a kid, though, this was a great source of insecurity for me. And I was really insecure. I thought people would make comments and say, John, you can't do that. John, you're not going to amount to that. They would make other comments to make fun of me, right? They would cause this insecurity, and I would doubt myself. And so when I talk about insecurity, I talk about questioning your self-value, self-worth. Some of that's been my struggle. That's a lot of my story. Is growing up, I would have those questions. But my parents kept telling me, John, over and over again, John, you were made for a reason. You were made this way on purpose. And it's because you have a significant purpose that no one else in this world has. It's just for you. And so what I was able to do is my greatest weakness has now become my greatest strength. So you have to understand, like, this arm, what I thought was the worst thing that ever happened to me, it's become one of the best things that's ever happened to me. I'm here, most likely, I'm here because God has opened a door for me to speak because I was born with one arm. All right, you see how those events have all lined up? I have opportunities to speak to kids about these things because I was born this way. And so when I think about my purpose being bigger than I even realized, it's because God had a bigger plan for my arm than I did. And so for you, you can think, and maybe it's external like mine, or maybe it's internal, maybe it's a different struggle, but what's your greatest weakness? All right, don't name it out loud, but just think right now, what's my greatest source of insecurity? What's my greatest weakness that I have? And then here's the second question, a part of that. How can it become your greatest strength? If you realize you have a significant purpose, nothing's weak. It's all just an opportunity for it to become strength. My arm, again, it's become my greatest resource. Right? People ask me questions about my arm in public all the time. I'm like, oh, let me tell you my story, right? I have an opportunity. I'm not shy about it, right? I have fun with it. Like, you see Finding Nemo, Lucky Finn, right? I have a lot of fun with things, and I mess with people. It's just fun, right? I'm a lighthearted dude, and this is a way for me to interact with people. But I realized my arm gave me a very significant purpose. All right, so that's the first thing y'all need to know. All right, how do I know my worth? How do I know my value? How do I make sure that I go the direction I need to go? I need to realize that I have a significant purpose worth pursuing. The second thing, you guys are going to have to surround yourself. So it's all S words, right? Significant purpose. Number 2, surround. You need to surround yourself with the right people. Right? It's easy to find any friends. It's hard to find good friends. All right, you can be friends with anybody. It doesn't mean they're a great influence. Right? You can meet someone online. You can, in our day and age, social media, you can meet someone playing video games. You can meet someone and friend them on there. You can meet kids at school, kids wherever they may be, at church even. And just because they're friends doesn't mean they're good friends. And so you gotta make sure you surround yourself with the right people. Right? You gotta surround yourself with the right people. There's a word that says iron sharpens iron. So one man sharpens another. So it means that you need someone who's gonna make you better. You need someone who's gonna challenge you to make right decisions. So I want you to think about your friend group right now. Think about your best friends. Do they help you go this direction? Or are they pushing you to go this direction? They challenge you to make better decisions, or they most likely, or even is this you, are you encouraging, or they encouraging you to make bad decisions? You got to surround yourself with the right people, because that's going to influence your decisions, which is going to influence your self-value. Right, so for me, I'm from Dallas, Texas. That's where I was born and raised. I lived in Arkansas now like almost the past 15 years of my adult life, and growing up, I played 4 sports, but baseball was my sport. So that's the sport I played for school. So it was my senior season of baseball, varsity season. We were rocking and rolling. A wonderful year. Well, we were like 2 games shy from the state championship, right? One of those great seasons where it was like, man, we almost got it. that year, I began to hang out with friends that did not live the same lifestyle I lived. Or they didn't have the same values I had. They didn't make the same decisions that I made. And so I began to surround myself with these guys that would drink. I began to surround myself with guys that would smoke weed. I began to surround myself with guys who were having sex with girls outside of marriage, things that I didn't do. And so we're doing all these things, and I'm not doing these things, I'm just around these things. I'm getting involved with these guys, and my friends have been playing baseball with them since we were 4 years old. So for 14 years, I developed these relationships with these guys, and it's our senior year, and one night we go to celebrate a victory on a Friday night, right? Big game, got a big victory, and all the guys, let's go hang out and tailgate at a Taco Bell. So we're going to get our fourth meal on after the game, getting the victory grub, and we're all in the parking lot hanging out, and it's all good, right? So guys, we like hanging out with guys. Who do we like hanging out with better though? Girls, right? I do. So it's fun to hang out with the guys, but sometimes it's good to hang out with the girls. And so we're all hanging out, it's a dude fest, and then some girls show up, and one girl showed up that I was really excited to see. Her name was Kelly Darman. I liked me some Kelly Darman, right? She was a junior, I was a senior. She was a girl that I've been trying to kind of talk to, you know, the talking stage of dating, right? Y'all know when you're not boyfriend, girlfriend, you're not in the friend zone, you're like in the middle, right? You're talking, you're feeling each other out, right? So me and Kelly were talking, and she showed up, and I was excited to see her, but the problem with Kelly showing up is Kelly showed up drunk. She'd been drinking at the baseball stadium in the student section at school, on school property. She'd been drinking while driving, and then she showed up and she was continuing to drink, and I saw a major problem with that because we're all about to go home. She's about to drive, and I'm like, there's not a chance in the world I'm gonna let you drive. And so I take Kelly and I say, I'm gonna take you home. We'll figure all this out later, but I'm gonna get you to your house. So I put Kelly in my car, and I take her to her house and make sure she gets inside and she's safe, and then I go home. Right, end of story, I'm home by curfew, right? I was making good decisions, right? Had a plan. So that's Friday night. Monday morning rolls around. We have some time in between classes every day at our school, in high school, in the commons area. We would have this big area where everyone kind of hang out before we'd go back to class. And we met. She said, Kelly asked me, hey, John, can I talk to you for a second? And she pulled me aside and asked me a question. And I was offended by this question because, John, I just have to know Friday night. I don't realize a lot that happened. Obviously, she was a little, inebriated or abbreviated, whatever she was. She said, John, Friday night, did anything sexual happen between me and you? And I was like, whoa, girl, like, no, I would never do that to you. I would never take advantage of you in such a way. I would never, ever cross that line. I would not do that. You know who I am. Why in the world? So I was curious, why, if you know who I am, you know the decisions that I make, you know what I'm all about, why would you have to ask me that question? Why would you even think that about me? And she said this, and it changed my life. She said, John, I know you're friends, and I thought you were just like them. See, I realized, even though I wasn't guilty, I was guilty by association. So I had to change my friend group because they were having an influence on me, whether I was making those decisions or not. People thought I was. Now, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't having sex, I wasn't smoking weed, but everyone began to think, oh, if he's hanging out with that crew, he must. And so that day I changed my friend group. They were still my friends, they were still my boys, we still were teammates, but Friday night, John, you coming out? Man, I wish I could, but I've got some other things I got to take care of. John, Saturday, coming over, all getting together. Guys, man, I just got too much going on, I can't do it today, I'm sorry. I'll see you guys at practice on Monday, right? So I began to find myself gravitating toward people that weren't making decisions this direction, but gravitate towards people and friends that were making decisions this direction, right? So you need guys around you. You need to have friends that will help you make good decisions, all right? So you got to have a significant purpose. You got to surround yourself with all the right people. All right, it's going to be maybe again some cost there, but it's worth it. Number 3, you got to make sure that you say that you don't let anyone say who you are. You say who you are. All right, you determine who you are. And what do you mean by that, John? Well, here's what I mean. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to try to tell you what you can and cannot do. A lot of people are going to tell you what you can and cannot be. I've had people limit me or try to limit me my entire life. John, you can't play sports. John, you can't do these things. And all it's ever motivated in me is to do it. So I've tried to prove everyone wrong. That's been one of my my goals and my decision making, my direction is I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it better. All right, I'm going to be the best. And so don't let anyone ever say who you are. You might hear that at home, that John, you're a failure. John, no one's ever going to like you. You might hear from friends or mean people at school. No one likes you. People wish you were dead. I wish you wouldn't come here anymore. You may hear all kinds of things that say you'll never amount to anything. You're the worst of the worst. No one likes you. You're ugly. You're fat. We hate you. You might hear all kinds of stupid things, but they're all lies. Because no one says who you are. You say who you are. And something else, and someone else says who you are, and that might be God, right? And so here's what I want you to understand, is no one has determined my future. I do. You can say here today, and y'all can say it to me all day long, John, you're worthless, dude. You only have one arm. You can't do anything. And it wouldn't change me. Or it wouldn't affect me, because I'm like, y'all don't get to say that. y'all don't have authority in my life, right? You don't control me. And so don't let anyone ever say who you are, what you can do, and what you can't do. Y'all know who Michael Jordan is?
Yes, sir.
All right, Michael Jordan. If y'all don't know, Space Jam, all right, an old kids movie. Number 23, he's the Jordan brand shoes. Jumpman, right? We know who Michael Jordan is. He's the greatest basketball player of all time, right? That's the argument. He's the GOAT, greatest of all time. All right, but you may know what happened. He tried out for basketball as a sophomore. Y'all know what happened when he tried out? He didn't make the team. He got cut. So a sophomore in high school, Michael Jordan gets cut. You know what he could have done? He could have said, "Coach is right. I'm not a basketball player. I don't have a future here. This ain't my dream. He gets to tell me my dreams, and I don't get to chase them." So he could have said, "All right, this person gets to determine my future," but he didn't. All right, he didn't. He came back the next year, tried out, and guess what? He made the team. Played so well in high school, earned a scholarship to North Carolina, all right, one of the greatest basketball programs in the country. Went on to win a national championship in North Carolina. Got drafted by the Chicago Bulls. All right, went down to win 6 NBA World Championships. Has the highest points per game average over a career than anyone else in league history. Went down again, has a statue in front of the stadium, and has now been enshrined in the Hall of Fame. He's the greatest basketball player to have ever played the game. But he went from being cut, all right, as a sophomore, which is older than you guys. Y'all are 9th grade? All right, you're 9th grade? You're 10, so you're grade. So imagine being cut from your dream and then later on having a statue, all right? That's Jordan's story. And so here's the point. Again, no one gets to determine your future. All right, you know you have worth. You know you have value. You know your dreams are worth pursuing. So don't let anyone ever tell you what you can and cannot do and who you can and cannot be. No one can take that away. God gave that to you when you were made, and no one can ever take that away. So you have to make sure that you say who you are. And then here's the last thing, is you're going to have to make the decisions with a lot of self-control. All right, self-control. That's going to be a big part of your worth. Because we all want to be liked, right? We all want to have friends. We all want to be in the in crowd. We all want to be included. And so there's going to be this pressure for us to do things maybe that we don't want to do. Or to do things that maybe we're not comfortable doing just so we can fit in. Just so we can have friends. Just so people will like us. Just so we can be on the inside. Right? There's going to be pressure. And that's called peer pressure. All right? Peer pressure. Y'all know what that is? Y'all heard that phrase? All right. So I got my friend Isaiah. All right, peer pressure. Here's what that looks like, man. Say, Isaiah, we are at a party. All right, it's not a good party. There's bad things happening. People are smoking weed over here. People are getting drunk over here. And I come to you with some drinks and some alcohol, and I'm like, dude, Isaiah, you have to drink. All right, man, you have to drink. And at first you're like, no, man, I'm good. I don't need to drink. But I keep pressuring you and pressuring you and pressuring you until finally you give in. You say, all right, man, I want to hang out with you guys. We're all having a ton of fun. We're over here getting belligerent, right? And you're like, okay, that looks like fun. Let's go play beer pong, and let's go outside and ride four-wheelers, and let's get drunk and do whatever we want to do, right? So you jump in, because I pressure you over and over and over. Well, it's time for everyone to go home, and so you decide to drive. It's my house, so I'm going to stay. I'm not going anywhere. You decide to drive home, intoxicated. You get pulled over by a police officer. Who goes to jail? You or me? You do. Why? Because you made the decision. But you let me make your decision. Even though I pressured you into that decision, You decided to allow me to make your decision for you, but guess who pays the price? You, not me. That's how peer pressure works. If you allow someone to pressure you, you give them the authority to make your decision, but then you always pay the consequence. So if they peer pressure you into sending a text that you shouldn't send, whether it's a bullying text or an inappropriate sexual text, or whether you are pressured to make a decision with drugs and alcohol, or to do something else you shouldn't do that might cross a legal line, right? Whether you get pressured to do anything whatsoever, and you know it's not right, you know you shouldn't do it, but you make that decision, it's because you let someone else make the decision for you, but they don't pay the price. You do. See how foolish that is? See how ridiculous it would be to say, yeah, okay, you can make my decisions. I'm going to be the one to pay the price, but you go ahead, you can pressure me. No one can, y'all could not pressure me to do anything. I'm confident, right? I have self-control because I know my worth. I know my value. I know my destination. I know where I want to be. And if you're saying, John, do these things, we're going to press you, it's not going to check me because I'm going all the way here, regardless of what you guys want me to do. So I want you to be challenged to know your worth, to know your significant purpose, to know you're surrounding yourself with the right people, to know that you get to say who you are, that you have the self-control to say no, right, to things that you should not do. Right, to have self-control because I'm worth making the best decision. I'm worth it. And so if you're walking away from anything today, man, just say, man, I'm worth it. I'm worth making right decisions. I'm worth doing the right thing. I'm worth going the right direction. I'm worth not choosing to have a disappointing life. I'm worth achieving my goals and my dreams because I have a value that this world and nobody else can ever take away. So be challenged on it. So here's what I did in 8th grade. All right, y'all, what grade are you 3 guys in? 9th. All right, so 1 year ago, or 2 years ago for you, here's where I was sitting. I was sitting in 8th grade, and I decided I was scared to death of high school. All right, my high school started in 9th grade. It was 9 through 12. So as a freshman in 9th grade, I had classes with seniors. All right, so that's a little intimidating. And I was scared to death of the influence. I was scared to death of the pressure. This was before social media days had kind of kicked in, so there was all this pressure that was always not on you from home. It was always at school. So I was just scared to death of school. And I was scared of what kind of decisions I'll be pressured in making. So I decided to make 4 big decisions as an 8th grader. Number 1, I decided to never do drugs. I'm 34 years old, and when I was 14, I made that decision. So 20 years later, I've never tried a drug once in my life. Not once. I've been offered. I've been around marijuana. People have shown me things that I shouldn't do, but I've never tried a drug in my life because I made a decision when I was 14, not when I was 21. I made a decision to never smoke when I was 14 years old. And obviously we know there's nothing good and nothing quality about life that comes from smoking in any form whatsoever, whether it's money or health. Right? There's nothing good about smoking or vaping, I would argue, for that matter. I'm 14 making this decision. I'm 34, guys. I've never smoked a cigarette a day in my life. Again, been offered, been around it. It's just never a decision I think is worth it, not worth my health. 14 years old, I decided to never ever drink alcohol. I've never seen one good thing come from alcohol. I've seen a lot of abuse. I saw my next door neighbors get drunk and lose control of their lives. So I see the negative sides of alcohol abuse, and I decided it's not worth my life. I'm 34 years old, guys, and this has been a big thing because you do it socially, right? 34, I've never had a drop of alcohol in my life. Now, I didn't do it on my 21st birthday. I said, am I going to drink or not? I didn't do it at a college party, and my friends were. I'm like, no. I made the decision when I was 14, right? Sitting where you guys could be sitting, I made the decision so I wouldn't have to make it later, right? I made the decision now so I wouldn't have to make it later. And the last thing I did is I decided as a 14-year-old to never have sex outside of marriage. Probably the hardest one, right? Because we live in a very sexualized culture. You guys have sex thrown at you from here to the girls you see, to the movies you watch. I mean, sex is everywhere, right? We see it all the time. Pornography is a huge industry that costs a lot of people a lot of things. So I would really encourage you not to get even involved in that whatsoever. I'm 14, I made the decision I'm never going to have sex outside of marriage. I'm 34, been married for 11 years, I have 3 kids, and I never had sex until my wedding night. And that was the first time that I decided to have sex with my wife. It was her first time. We both remained pure until that day. And that was a decision that I made. Not when I was on a date with her, not when we were alone in a car, not when we were on a couch watching a movie with no parents around. That was a decision that I made when I was 14. So here's what I'm saying. You can make decisions right now that will determine the rest of your life. It's possible. You can right now say, you know what, I'm going to do these things, and this is the direction I'm going to go. And you can make decisions that you will not compromise on for the rest of your life. I'm 34. You know what? I'm still never going to smoke a cigarette. That hasn't changed. When I'm 54, it'll be the same thing. I made a decision when I was 14 to never smoke. I'll be saying the same thing. I'm 34. I'm still never going to drink alcohol. Right? That's just, my kids don't need it. My family's not going to help me be a better father. It's not going to make me be a better husband. The only thing I see is the downside, is it could turn into abuse. It could turn into me losing control. So I say, you know, it's not beneficial. I'm still never going to do drugs. Right? These are decisions I'm making as a 14, now 34. It's still going to change the rest of my life. And then I'm still never going to have sex without my wife. Right? She's the one that I've been married to. She's the one that I committed to. And so you have to understand, guys, you can make decisions that will be just the direction that you want to go because you have the worth and value to go that direction. And so I'm still not where I want to be, or I'm still going in the same direction, but I'm not going this direction. And so again, you guys are going to have the value and the worth to say, I'm worth going this direction. I'm worth good decisions. I'm worth right friends. I'm worth right choices because I have a value that this world cannot take away. All right, here's my last story. We'll be done with this, all right? I know my time's getting up here. All right, so I told you I was born this way, right? All right, so I was born this way. This is the way God made me. And so when I was growing up, I had 2 older brothers, 1 older sister. And my older brother and I, when he was 13, I was a 5-year difference. Anybody have an older brother in here?
I'm
All right.
oldest.
You're the oldest.
I would have one, but passed away.
Gotcha. Okay. You have an older brother? Any older siblings for you?
I got a younger sister.
You got a younger sister. Okay. Sometimes that can be hard. All right. So I have an older brother. So here's what would happen. If you have any brothers or cousins or just boys that you play with, when mom and dad left, we turned the living room into a fight club. All right. That's what would happen. So mom and dad are gone, and me and my brother decide we're going to fight and wrestle and play wrestling, WWF at that time, or we were playing a game called Karate Kid. And so my parents had gone Saturday morning. They're left the house. Me and my brother, my other 2 siblings, were all there by ourselves, and we decided to fight. And so we're playing this fighting game in the living room, and I decided, you know, this is my moment to really shine because I'm tired of getting beat up. Right? He's 13. He has hands like you. So how many hands does he have? 2 big full hands. I have 1 baby hand, 1 big hand. So he beats me up every time. All right, I don't stand a chance. And so he's whooping my tail. He calls a timeout, and I decided this is my chance. And when he's not paying attention, I sucker kick my brother as hard as I've ever sucker kicked or kicked anything in my entire life, right in the midsection. I nail him. I was a direct hit, sunk his battleship. He goes down. Right? Homeboy's down on the ground, and I'm sitting there thinking, all right, man, that's right. I'm king of the house. I'm going to take care of this. What's up, man? So that's good. I'm feeling great about myself in that moment, but then about 15, 20 seconds later, after you lose your breath, what happens? You get it back, right? You get it back. So he catches his breath. He looks up at me, and I see fire in his eyes, and I know that's the day that I'm going to die, right? That's it. It's the last day of my life. And so I do the only thing I know to do, which is 1, scream like a little girl. All right, pee my pants and run away. All right, this is it. This is the last day. I've got to go. Come on in, man. And so I take off to the back of the house, and I'm running and running and running. He's coming after me. I jump in my parents' bed. I throw a pillow at him to stop him from, killing me. And he grabs the pillow, he catches it, and throws it back, and I duck. And the homeboy hits a pillow on the wall that hits a picture frame, and that picture frame came right down, smack down the back of my head. All right, so there's blood everywhere. All right, your head bleeds, and we know this now as an adult, that your head bleeds more than any part of your body because it's just got so much flowing up there, so much oxygen. And so I've got blood everywhere. All right, there's blood on the ground. There's blood all over me. There's blood to a point to where we're scared that something bad is going to happen. And so Scott's 13, and he's got a decision to make because I'm bleeding. And Scott's like, all right, if John dies, man, I'm gonna get grounded, right? That's his fear. He's 13. If John dies, he's gonna get grounded. But if he calls mom and dad to tell them to come home, he's also gonna get grounded, right? Because we've been doing things that we shouldn't have been doing. And so he's got a decision to make. He doesn't want mom and dad to find out. He doesn't want John to die. He doesn't want to get grounded. What's he gonna do? So we decide to call 911. Right, without mom and dad knowing. We're trying to do all this without them finding out. So we call 911. All right? They show up on the scene. And I told you two important things. One, I was born this way, right? Two, there's blood everywhere. And when I say there's blood everywhere, make a visual, there's blood everywhere. They show up, and I can't make this up, man. They said, John, first thing, dude, where is the rest of your arm? Right? They say that. They say, where's the rest of your arm? And of course, as an 8-year-old, I'm not missing my arm. Right? I was born this way. But I was missing self-esteem. I was missing self-value. I was missing the determination to go the right direction. And what I don't want, what's your name over here?
Carson.
Cosser?
No, Carson.
Okay. What I don't want to do, let me read that for you. Carson, all right. Nice to meet you, Carson. What I don't want any of you guys to do is to miss the direction, miss the determination, and miss the value that you all possess. All right? No one can take that away. So I want you guys to make decisions that will always take you in the right direction. All right? Okay. That's my spiel. That's my speech for you guys this morning. Y'all have been great, really attentive. I think I'm about right out of time, right? So right on time
Do you
here.
have any questions for us?
Yeah. Y'all have any questions for me about my story or about anything I do or what I'm about? Anything I can tell you?
And I wasn't here.
I know, I missed you, man. I'm sorry, but I'm glad you came through the end. Glad you came through the
I
end.
just took,
Yeah.
no, I felt. I made the question tough though.
Questions low? I got 23.
I don't like that. I got close enough.
Well, thank you guys for listening, man. If y'all have any questions, your teacher, Lindsay Kelly, what's your name right here?
Garen, Miss Garen.
Miss Guerin, thanks for letting me be in your room. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Y'all have any questions for them, they can get a hold of me and I can